We're turning now to today's tragic bus accident, and we're joined by the president of the United Hatzalah First Response Organization, Eli Beer, who was at the scene of today's deadly mishap. Thank you so much for joining us, Eli. Any scene involving children, of course, is always difficult. What can you tell us about the accident itself?
Well, it reminded me and the rest of the volunteers of United Hatzalah about terrible things we saw in big events like terror attacks. It looked like a terror attack. It was a bus that was on fire, and it had a lot of children in that bus. And a lot of these children were trying to get out, and they couldn't get out. It was just, they were trapped inside. And they were trying to get some air because it had a lot of smoke inside the bus. Well, a few volunteers that live very close to that area, who are actually settlers from Yishuv Adam and other Yishuvim around, responded immediately, and some of them were on the road while it happened, so they got there really quick. Within a few minutes they were there, 2 or 3 minutes they were there, and they were trying to just get the fire out of, just get the kids out of there while the fire was still there, and even putting their own life in danger by doing that.
Eli, there was a lot of cooperation today between Israeli and Palestinian security and rescue teams. Your own medical personnel also involved. Is this kind of cooperation unusual?
Well, I think anyone that's involved with saving lives puts politics aside. I really hope so, at least by United Hatzalah volunteers. We have Arab volunteers, we have Jewish volunteers, we have settlers, we have every type of volunteer in United Hatzalah. So I always see it, and I always wonder, what do they think really in their mind? And I saw today something that it was very emotionally for me to see. It was an amazing experience. I seen 2 volunteers who are settlers, who live around. I mean, you would think about them as settlers, have their reputation in the world, and I know them. They are great people, and they were there and they were crying like babies after that incident. One of them we even had to have someone professional speak to, and one of them, and I know a few volunteers couldn't go back to work that day. They literally. Today they're not working, and they had a very hard time seeing Palestinian children getting hurt. So I think anyone that's involved with life-saving puts politics aside. Now we're talking about lives here.
Eli, turning to another issue completely, let's discuss the impending winter storm. What kind of preparations has your organization been undertaking to assist the public in case of an emergency?
So we're talking about, first of all, the next few days. There are going to be some rough days here in the weather. So the organization, United Hatzalah, got a lot of volunteers to volunteer not only their emergency time in terms of jumping out of their home or work to save someone's life immediately, but now to prepare for real emergencies that are happening during these terrible weather days. So when we have a lot of bad weather outside, more accidents happen and more things happen. So we tell volunteers to get prepared with a lot more oxygen in their car, because our volunteers respond with their cars and with their own motor. We have these ambucycles, which you see them all around the country, and these ambucycles respond immediately to every emergency. So when this weather happens and they have big accidents like today, you need to have more supplies. So we actually open our supply room for many more hours today and yesterday, just to prepare the volunteers to come from all around the country, and we send them we sent to the Golan Heights today a lot of supplies into Tzfat and other places. We want them to be prepared, because if they get to a situation where the country is going to be with a little snow, whatever, they need to have more supplies. So the volunteers are ready to do this, and they are getting ready.
Eli Beer, president of United Hatzalah, thanks so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.